I want to make 3 little signs, 3 little shelf sitter signs using some of these shore living wood shapes from the Dollar Tree because of course we're going to go coastal, but also patriotic, right? So I'm going to do a sea turtle, a starfish, and a seahorse. I was trying to determine 1 or 2. I found 3 little signs from the Dollar Tree that were all the same size. They're not actually the same sign, but they are the same size. And I thought we could do red, white, and blue on those. And we could also do some stars with some of these star stickers that we found from the Dollar Tree. Now, on this one, I'm going to do a little bit different strategy than we did before. I thought we could just peel off the backing of these stars and actually just paint the stars and see if that was easier. And I think it probably was. So I painted like a whole sheet of them, that ivory color, to give me some white stars. I'm also going to do like red, white, and blue signs. So I'm going to paint this first one ivory color. And just enough coats of chalk paint to kind of cover up any design that was on there to give myself a nice background for the white sign. And these are simply going to be little shelf sitter signs that you can sit on your shelf. These would also be really cute for a tier tray. The second one, I'm going to paint this bright red crimson color. I thought since I have all that writing on that side, I probably should do a coat of ivory first to kind of mask that writing instead of just trying to go over it with red. And while I'm painting the red sign, I'm also going to do another sheet of the star stickers. This time I'm going to paint them red. So I just paint them red along with our little red sign. And I just do enough coats on both of those to get good coverage. Red can be a little bit tricky. So that looks pretty good. And we can start working on our blue sign. Again, I'm using that agave light blue color in chalk paint and going all over that so we can continue that fun red, white, and blue color scheme that we're doing for these DIYs. Some of the DIYs we're going to do today, though, where I'm going to show you more of a traditional blue too, so you can see what those DIYs look like too with a coastal feel. Now it's time to figure out what to do with our little sea creatures. The only thing I don't like about these is they are ornaments, so they do have holes in them. So you do have to make sure you cover those up if you're going to use them for something like this. So I'm just using some Dollar Tree spackle and trying to fill those in. Now I kind of want to do contrasting colors. So for the little seahorse, I'm going to paint that the agave blue. That will go nicely on the white sign. And then for a contrasting color for our sea turtle, we're going to paint it ivory. That'll be a nice contrasting color against the red. And then the starfish ivory as well. Just because, well, no, I changed my mind. I decided to do red on that one to go on the blue sign just because I did want red, white, and blue. And the starfish does have a little pattern on there of little dots all over that you might still be able to see there through the paint. Just a fun little detail. Now for the stars. So we have the red sign, and these are the little stars that we painted ivory. It did work well. What I noticed though is that I did have a little bleeding along the outside. So as I pull one out, I just kind of make sure that I pull off any extra paint. Maybe I painted a little bit too much paint on them. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to kind of alternate them all over, kind of in an alternating pattern there into little rows. So we have like the red and white stars instead of the red and white stripes, just kind of a little fun take on the flag. And I distress it with some ivory as well to make it look nice and coastal. I do go over it with Mod Podge too to seal down those little star stickers to make sure that they stay in place. Now for the white sign, I'm going to distress it with blue since I can't really distress it with ivory. And so I just do that all over. And then we're going to use red stars on this one. So it's going to be white and red stars too, instead of red and white stripes. We're going to make the stripes on the actual blue sign just for fun. And so I'm going to line these up exactly how I did the other sign, like 3 along the sides, 3 along the top, and then just kind of fill in all of the gap pieces kind of halfway in between. And I do think that was easier than trying to weed it out for making a stencil. And then I seal those with Mod Podge as well. Now for the blue sign, I said we were going to do blue and white stripes instead of red and white stripes. So I'm just going to use some painter's tape. And we're also going to make kind of some interesting shape, kind of like a pinstripe instead of a wide stripe, just to mix it up a little bit, some more. And I just paint those on with ivory. I'm also using that same ivory to kind of distress on the sides as well as I go along, and we just have a fun little stripe pattern. I do go over it with a second coat to make sure that my stripes are nice and bright. And I distress the front with some ivory as well to give that coastal touch. Now we can start putting these together. I was trying to remember which one goes with which. I do want to distress them too, to give it that coastal farmhouse vibe. So I'm using alternating colors. For the white, I'm going to distress in blue. And for the red, I distress in white. And for the blue, I distress in white too. And then I decided you could kind of see those little spots on the starfish, so we might as well add that as a touch. So I'm just going to use a white paint pen and kind of color those in just to provide a little bit more detail to our little starfish one. These were so fun to put together. I love the different takes on the stars and stripes and the different colors, and adding the coastal little characters as well. You know, I love to make every holiday coastal, and so this is a fun way to do it. So kind of laying them out how they're going to be, trying to make sure everything is dry before we put them together. And then we're simply going to hot glue our little sea creasers onto the front of these three little shelf sitter signs. So our little ivory turtle, our little red and white starfish. It's going to be a nice contrast against that blue and white stripe. And then our little blue seahorse for the last one. So cute and so inexpensive to put together. These are kind of a lightweight sign, but they definitely sit nicely on my shelf. You can just kind of sit them on their side. And this is how they look. I display mine all together on one shelf of my cabinet. And I think they're so fun and whimsical for the 4th of July or patriotic decor.
And you can always mix up your color of blue like this. If you like the lighter blue for a coastal vibe, you know, they're your DIY, so you can make them however you like.